Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In the last video, we have seen how to create a database and table in SSMS and then how to link that database to our program in C Sharp, and then we have seen create operation in CRUD operations, right? So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link that video above in the I icon. Please go and watch that so that you will be having some context for this video. So now let's begin this video. In this video, let's see how to do display and updation. Okay, come on, let's get started. Let's open Visual Studio. Always run in admin mode. Let's open our CRUD app. So now our console app is loaded. If you see, we have already done the connection and create operation. Now let's open SSMS also and see what are the data we have. Now I'm connecting with my local server. Let's see what do we have in our database. We have CODB, that is the database we have been using from the last video. So let's switch to that database. So in that database, if we expand, we would be having details table. Let's see what are the data we have in our details table. We have two records inserted from the previous video. Now let's go and see how to display these two records in our program. For the time being, let us comment out the part of creation so that we can focus solely on display. Let's do retrieve, which is the R in CRUD. As always, let's start with writing a display query. String display query is equal to what would be the query? The query that we use to display, right? In database, what is the query we use? Select star from details, right? So the exact same thing we will be writing in C Sharp. Let's do that. Select star from details. So after writing our query, what do we do is create an object of SQL command class. Let's create an object, that is previously we had insert command. Now let's have display command. New SQL command. For this, we would be passing our object, two objects. What are those? One is the query and the other one is our connection. We have opened a connection here, right? So we will be passing that. Now we have both our query and command. Now let's do data reader. I'll see what is data reader in a moment. let's create a class for data reader. Create an object called data reader. What this data reader class will do is, this data reader will read the data from our table record by record at a time, which was written by display command. Okay, display command is nothing but the object of SQL command. So what does our data reader do is, data reader will fetch data from our table one record at a time, which was written by SQL command class. Okay, now let's do that. Let's call display command because the data reader will be executing the display command. Okay, dot execute data reader. If you would have noticed in the previous video, I would have told you that execute non-query is used to execute command which doesn't return any data, right? For example, while creation, we won't be returning any data, we will be inserting data into database. Likewise, in retrieval, we will be taking data from database, right? So that means our command will be returning data to us. So since it is returning data and we want to read the data, we are using execute reader method. Now our database, if you see, contains two records, right? So we will be reading one record at a time. So while we will be using this data reader object dot read, what does this mean is, we will be reading one data at a time from this table. So when we read this data, our while would be true, and after reading that, when we read the second record, that time also our while will be true. When we read, after this, when our pointer comes to next place, there is no record to read, it returns empty. So data reader dot read will return false, so we would exit our while loop. So what do we do inside while loop is, we will be simply printing the data to the console. So let's do that. Console dot write line. We would be needing all the data, right? So ID plus data reader. So now this data reader holds this single record. Just imagine that data reader is having the entire record. So according to data reader, this is at position 0, this is at position 1, and this is at position 2. Okay, so let's do that. So what we are retrieving from data reader, we should use get value method. For this method, we should pass the position in our table. So 0 is the position of user ID, 1 is the position of username, and 2 is the position of age. So let's pass that. After passing, we would be returning this data as string. So let's do that. This is our first data. We will be doing exactly same thing for a name. Name is present in the first position and age is present in the second position. Now, since we got all the data, when our data reader comes out of 2 and when it try to fetches the third one, there is nothing present. So data reader dot read will return false. So we would come out of while loop after printing 2 records. Since we have got data from data reader, let's close the data reader. And that is it. This is the whole retrieval part. Let's run and see our program. So now our program is running. If you see connection established successfully, that we got from this line. After that we have commented our creation part, so we didn't get that part. And after that, what do we have is our retrieval part. Since we have given ID, name and age, we are getting both the records. And after that, let's stop it. So now we have completed retrieval part. Let's go ahead for updation part. So for the ease of access, let's comment out retrieval also. No, let's keep it as it is because we need to know what is the ID of the record we would be updating. So let retrieval be there. Let's go for updation, update, which is U in CRUD operations. So for updation, let's see what do we do here in DB. The command to update a record in a table is update table name set. Let's update the age of Penny. It is previously 30, now we are making it as 40. Set based on what is the criteria. I am taking her ID because ID is the one that uniquely identifies this record. Even though username is also different, maybe in future there might be another Penny. So that time to differentiate a record from another record, we would be using user ID, where user ID is equal to 2. Let's run this command and see. So now both of their ages updated. So the exact same thing we will be doing from a C# program. So to do that, we need two things, right? We need the user ID and what is the data that we are updating. So we need to get both of these things from user. So let's create int u underscore id. This u is nothing but a denotion that we are doing updation. Let's have uid and then int age. These are the variables that we would be needing in the future. Now let's write console dot write line enter the user ID that you would like to update. Like we have done previously in creation, to get user age, we would be getting as a string and then we are converting it to int, right? Exact same thing we will be doing here. uid is equal to, we will be getting using console dot read line, but we will be passing this to int dot parse method so that the string will get converted to integer. Next, let's ask user to give the age that they would like to change. Let's say update. We will be doing the exact same thing here. We'll be getting user age, right, is equal to, we pass this one. So now we have both the parameters that we need. So now, as usual, let's create our query. String update query. So let's see, what do we have here? Update table name, update table name, set. What is the column name that we have? Let's see exactly what we have given here. User underscore age, all small, is equal to, since it is an age, we can directly give u age and then quotation quotes. What does this do here is it will convert this to the this. Now we need to give where user ID. Let's do that. Where user ID is equal to, then u underscore ID, and then we will close this. So this will get transformed into update details set user age is equal to what the user passes, where user ID is equal to user ID. We need to have a space here. Let's do that. After update query, let's create a command, SQL command, update command is equal to new SQL command of update query, comma, SQL connection string. So we are passing update query and connection string to this update command. Now we need to run this update command, right? So since this update command is going to do operation to the database and not fetching anything from the database, we will be using execute non-query. Update command dot execute non-query, and then we are done. So to see that it is completed, let's give console.writeLine data updated successfully. So now let's try running. Now we have user ID Leonard 40 age and user 2 Penny age. So this is why I wanted to keep the retrieval part. So now let's change the age of Leonard. So let's enter the user ID 1, enter the age of user to update. His age is 40. Let's give him 30. Data updated successfully. Now let's go into DB and see. Leonard age should be 30. Yes, it is updated. Let's update for Penny also. Let's run again. Let's update Penny's age. We are entering her ID. Let's update her. See, her age is 40. Let's update it to 50. It is updated. We can see by two ways. We can run this and retrieve data and see from our console app. Yes, her age is updated to 50, and we can also see by going to DB. Yes, it is updated to 50. In this video, we have seen how to do retrieval and updation, and in next video, let's see how to do deletion and how to improve this program and make it as a loop through so that we don't have to comment out any part, but we can update only a, that is, we can run only a specific part that we want to. Let's see how to do that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know your comments or any suggestions that you have for me, and then please let me know your doubts. I'll reply as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.